Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of Aspire to Inspire. My name is Crystal, and we are here today with Fractal. Say what's up, man.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, so today we'll be talking about his breakthrough and some of the amazing things that have been going on in his life the past couple of years. So why don't you tell us more about yourself and kind of how you got started?
Well, I started playing guitar when I was in middle school. That really helped kind of develop my musical sensibilities and stuff like that. And actually, it's funny. When I was in, I think it was my first year of high school, I took a class that was like music technology or something like that, and it taught you how to make a song or whatever. And the final project was to have like a whole track. And like 2 weeks in, I had an album or something like that, and they were like, "Wow, you're kind of good at this." And I was like, yeah, this is fun. So I dropped out of school and just like locked myself in my room with the software and like just went crazy and went to a bass Nitro show. I got to talk to him, which was awesome. And he turned me on to Ableton, which was just like seriously game changing for me because like to this day, I still do a lot of my work in Ableton. Like I dabble in other DAWs and stuff like Logic and stuff like that, but Ableton's my love.
So was music always, your thing, or when you were growing up, did you have any other kind of aspirations?
I mean, I'm a spaz kind of. Like, I wanted to do everything at one point in time. Like, I was 4 and I wanted to go work with horses. I was 9 and I wanted to be like a graffiti artist or a pro skater. Or at one point I wanted to be an animator, and another point I wanted to be a biologist. I was just all over the place. I don't know. It's kind of a miracle that I actually, stuck with one thing and was able to, dedicate a significant amount of time and energy to it. But once I got momentum with music, it was just like a no-brainer because it was so fun that,
Do you still, in your downtime, try to pursue things or, read up on articles of things that interest you that you could
all
have
the
done?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been dabbling in After Effects a lot. I mess around in Photoshop, which is cool because I've always wanted to do that stuff. I'm reading constantly. I like to stay up to date with politics just because, they affect me and they affect the people around me. I love reading on psychology. I spend a lot of time studying that and different religions and a lot of spirituality and existentialism and all kinds of stuff that interests me, quantum physics, whatever. And
do you find that kind of stuff helps your music and helps you kind of open your mind and free your mind to create?
I think that just kind of staying tuned into to kind of what's going on in the world, what's going on in the universe, and reading and bettering your understanding of this world just in general, I think is just it's a healthy brain activity. It's good for you, and I think that the creative process definitely relies on a healthy brain. So I mean, I would encourage everybody to spend time away from things like TV and kind of really just digging and exploring all of the awesome stuff that's out there, especially with the internet and stuff like that.
Cool. So tell us more about your music career, especially your breakout from 2013 and beyond.
A lot of that was thanks to PT. Love that guy with all my heart. It was crazy because I listened to his music growing up. My dad turned me on to it when I was a kid. He played for me in the car. I was like, what's this? This is crazy. This isn't like a guitar and a bass and a singer. And he was like, this is electronic. And I was like, whoa. Blew my mind. And so I listened to his music kind of growing up. And when I first started producing electronic music, I would play stuff a lot. We would turn out all the lights, me and my friends, and play, close our eyes, kind of meditate, and listen to like a whole BT track before we worked on music. Kind of ritual. It was like a ritual. It was really cool. But anyway, so one day I find out that he's coming to DC, and I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna give BT my CD. I think I was 7. I was like 18. I had my 3rd album at the time, and I was like, and he was like, yeah, okay, sure, son, whatever. And I went there, and last minute, while he was getting pulled off the stage, I kind of ran over and squeezed my way through, pushed a bunch of people out of the way. And I was like, BT, can you listen to my CD? And he was like, for some reason, he caught my eye, and he was like, yeah, I'd love to, and grabbed it and just kind of got swept away just in time. And that was it. I heard back from him 3 months later. He gives me a call. He's like, just Fractal? And I was like, yeah, who's this? He's like, it's BT. And I was just like my heart just kind of sank in my chest. And he's just like, dude, you're a pain in the ass to get a hold of. He was like, I get thousands of CDs every week. This is the best shit I've heard in like 3 years. Like, come to my house right now. And I was like, what? And a month or two later, we had a few collabs on his upcoming album, and he's he's a very special person in my life. I get to I get to actually call him a friend, and like our families get dinner together sometimes and stuff. So like when he picked me up, it was just game over, and he knew Enrique Iglesias. He knows everybody from like MJ to Obama to Enrique Iglesias. So when Enrique needed a DJ, he got called, and he was like, we were just making music in the studio one day, and he's like, dude, oh yeah, by the way, I wasn't gonna tell you this right away, but we got some things to iron out, but you're gonna be DJing for Enrique Iglesias if you want. And I was like, I just lost it. I was like, this is weird. And I was in school at the time, so I got pulled out of school and toured with Enrique. I was 19, toured with him for 3 years, and in that time I got signed to Monster Cat with Austin, and that just even that took Fractal to an even higher level, and yeah, rest is history.
So what's been the greatest lesson that BT has taught you during your career so far?
Wow, that's hard. Because like every time we go to his house, it's like we leave, that much wiser. We learned so much from him. It's crazy. To try to pick one thing is hard. But one of the things that stand out off the top of my head is the idea of honoring the composition. And sometimes people get upset, like people are working on collaborations together, and one person will do more work than the other person, or someone won't feel right because they didn't do all of this themselves, or sometimes there's politics involved with music making. But BT is always has always come in and said, like, look, the most important thing is the song, and nothing else matters. And it's most important when approaching these situations is to just do what you guys like. Everyone just should do what they can do to make the best art that they can, and not to worry about anything else, and nothing else matters. Like, your name doesn't matter, recognition doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the composition, and honoring that.
So what about you talk about music as being so powerful, and it's something that you always preach about. How has the music healed you, and how has your music helped heal others?
Music keeps me sane, man. Like, I mean, art does in general, just beautiful things. Like, this world is a really rough place, and there's a lot, it's really rough for a lot of people. There's a lot of dark things out there, and a lot of pain and suffering, but at the same time there's a lot of beautiful things. And to me, music is just kind of like at the pinnacle of just the beautiful kind of aspects of nature that we are blessed to be able to experience while we're on earth. I mean, I'm addicted to art. I'm addicted to music. I'm addicted to you can see my room is full of like colorful, pretty shit. And I think that my happiest days are when I'm working on a song all night until like whatever, 7 in the morning, sun's coming up, and it's like I'm working on the song, and it feels great, and then I just I need to pass out, so I close my computer and pass out, and I wake up, and just that feeling of the excitement of getting to listen to what I was working on like the night before, and just getting up and going outside and hearing the bird and seeing everything, putting on headphones and just going on a journey, and being able to do that every morning is incredibly inspiring to me. Like, music can take the most darkest times and turn them around. But I mean, I guess everyone knows that. But what's really amazing is the stories people have told me, kind of like the effect that my music has had on them. I've had people tell me that they they've overcome deadly addictions, like with heroin or whatever, using my music, and they've told me that it's got them through crazy depressions, or it's helped them with their PTSD, or all kinds of awesome stories. I think the power of music is endless, and the power of passion and beauty and inspiration and love, which I feel like music is just kind of a manifestation of those things, is endless.
So do you ever feel a kind of pressure when you're making new music for those people? Like, do you feel, this has to be a life-changing experience? Or do you feel, what if it's not good enough? What if the fans don't like it? Do you feel that on a regular basis?
Oh yeah. I feel a big responsibility to my fans to, be the best that I can be, to make the best music that I can, to not slack off, and to, really deliver with what it is that I do. And I wouldn't, you know, I don't, I most of the time that's more of an inspiring kind of motivating feeling than it is something that's kind of like pressuring. But yeah, like when I mean, it really helps. Like when I'm working my butt off on a song, but it just doesn't feel right, and my friends are like, "It's great, just put it out." But I'm just like that feeling. I think of all the people that, you know, that really appreciate and you know whose lives are kind of heavily affected by my music. I think about those people, and I'm like, you know what? No, like I'm gonna make this perfect, and I'll take the song, I'll tear it down, I'll rebuild it, and I'll make sure you know it's as good as it can be. Just because, yeah, I mean, it just means the world to me to be able to make the most, you know, the best, most beautiful music that I possibly can, and to help people as much as I can, and you know, inspire people as much as I can.
So you talk about, you know, you want to inspire people, but who inspires you in your life besides BT? Like, are there family members or
Oh
there
yeah,
other DJs?
my dad is one of my biggest heroes ever. He's one of the strongest, smartest, wisest, most charming, and sweetest guys I've ever met. He's a constant source of inspiration. All my friends are. As far as you're talking more musical inspiration or just inspiration in general to kind of like constantly do what I do?
Just the people in your life, and you know, it doesn't matter if they're music or are non-musical.
Yeah, I mean, I've got great friends like my friends Scott and John and Austin, who are also doing you know producers, Prismatic and AU5, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with, and it's awesome. Like they're definitely inspiring people because you know I get to look forward to you know John or Austin coming over at the end of the day and you know checking out the stuff that I have to play for them, and I look up to so many of them. Like John, he's such a John Prismatic. He's a hero of mine because like he's one of the most driven, inspirational people ever. Like he has sticks his mind on something and he does it. He tears it up. Like he learned music from me from the ground up, starting at age like 21, I think it was, or 20. And like John is someone who you'll see. It'll be in like a blizzard in the middle of winter, and you'll be driving down the street and you'll see John running like just jogging down through the blizzard like it's nothing, just chugging along. And it just kind of goes to show, you know, his willpower and his loyalty as a friend. He's an amazing guy. Austin too, AU5. The way that his mind works, the way that he approaches the world, the way that he looks at it, is incredibly inspiring. You know, like the depth and the intricacy in which his mind analyzes things, and the way that he can see things so clearly and assimilate perspectives and analyze so many things at once. It's awesome. He really did a lot for helping shape my perspective when approaching music and shaping myself as an engineer and stuff like that. Um, I just love people, man. Like people are great. They're fun. I love the people at the coffee shop who know my favorite sandwich. You know, I
What's
like
your
to
favorite
see
sandwich?
them. Well, it depends if it's breakfast or lunch.
Do you wake up? You told me you don't wake up in time for breakfast. You wake up at 3.
Yeah, well, I eat breakfast at 5 p.m. or whatever.
Yeah, that's lunch.
I'll probably eat breakfast today after this call.
That's not breakfast just because it's your first meal of the day.
Yes, it
doesn't
is.
count. It doesn't
Yes,
count.
I can have eggs and bacon whenever I want.
That's dinner.
That's breakfast. All right, fine.
So you're from right outside of Baltimore, right?
Yeah, I live in the suburbs. Lots of trees everywhere. It's beautiful, and the forest is really nature in general. It is one of my biggest inspirations. Because like I spend probably 80% of my time producing. I spend outside. Behind my garage, there's like a patio and chairs and a forest, which is beautiful. And there's state parks all over the place in Catonsville where I live. So I can just go to a waterfall or go to a cliff or walk through the forest or up a trail somewhere and find somewhere really beautiful and sit and work as much as I want, um, which is awesome. And that's kind of my favorite part of where I live. I don't really spend any time in the city unless I go down to play shows and stuff.
So have you had kind of you've been surrounded by the events that have been going on in Baltimore. You're someone who is really involved in, like you said, politics, and it really means a lot to you. What have the last couple of weeks been like for you living near Baltimore?
It's crazy. I did my best to kind of stay away from all the madness. The last thing I wanted to do was get involved, but Really, for me, it's just kind of frustrating watching all of the reactions. And first of all, I mean, obviously it's frustrating. It's frustrating what these people are doing, because a lot of it is kind of really messed up and not cool, and kind of a lot of misdirected anger. But the most frustrating for me is just the dialogues that are kind of coming out of the situation. I feel like are kind of really missing the point. You know, at first people are like, "Oh wow, there's riots. There people are are standing up for a cause. That's great." And then they're like, "Oh wow, everything's burning. Like these people are crazy." And then the conversation is, is it racist to call these people crazy? And then like, you know, the most important, I think, dialogue to have is that the fact that this society and this that we have is kind of the structure of everything. It promotes poverty. 1 in 5 children in this country are born into poverty. The drug war that we have, it promotes drug use. It promotes gang violence. It promotes all kinds of awful things. We suppress. We have a lower class that's just suppressed and pushed down and encaged into this system that does nothing but hurt them and put them through jail loops and all kinds of just awful things. And and of these people, they're hurt, and they need a place to kind of an outlet. And you know what happens when I feel like you suppress so many people, when you exploit so many people to such an extent, what's going to happen? They're going to freak out. They're going to lash out. There's going to be all this problem. I think the problem isn't really the fact that the people are doing it, but it's really like, why are the people doing it? Not because they're crazy and not because they're criminals, and it's not about race. It has nothing to do with that. It's because these people, they need help. A lot of Americans, like the lower class, like a lot of us are struggling so hard. We need help, and we're not getting help from our government. We're getting exploitation at every level. We're paying, we're paying so much for so little. It's crazy. We have the slowest internet in the world. We pay more than everyone else for it. Our education system is just so messed up. The way that everything is priced, and the amount of student debt, it's crazy. I can go forever on this stuff.
Well, actually, it kind of leads into the next thing. When we were talking on the first interview, you were talking a lot about campaign finance reform, and I wanted to kind of pick your brain about that a little bit more, because you had a lot to say.
Yeah, in my opinion, campaign finance reform is kind of the solution. That it's kind of nubbing the problem at the source. In my opinion, we have a lot of issues in this country, a lot of issues in this world that our country has a big role in because of our amount of influence, because of our size and stuff like that. Like, for example, whether or not you believe, you have strong views on gay marriage or on climate change or on the economy or on, the education system or on science and, funding or, tax, all of it, no matter what it is, if, we kind of collectively as a country, we know what we want, we know what's best for us, we know what we need, but we're not getting it at all. And what essentially the problem is that we don't have a democracy in this country anymore. And what's happening is that all of the laws and all of the politicians are doing nothing but catering to this rich elite. I mean, a lot of people know this. Our government is bought, it's paid off, okay, it's corrupt as crap. They don't do anything that we say. They're destroying the earth. They're destroying, families around the world. They're destroying the economy, and they're destroying the world that we need for our kids to live in, our grandkids, and all that. And we can't stop them because our democracy is broken. So to fix our democracy, we need to make it illegal for people to buy off our politicians. As simple as that. If you want to influence a law, you're allowed to. Every single person is allowed to donate up to whatever, $5,000 or whatever it might be, and that's it. So that way, everyone has an equal say on the things that are really important to them. Also, a part of a lot of the solutions that are going around with a lot of organizations like Represent Us, which is the one that I recommend following the most. It gives voters $100 in a tax return to focus and to spend strictly on campaigning, whatever laws or campaigns are important to them. And so I think that the most important thing is that we as people need to get our voices back. We need to get our country back, and we need to use the country's power for the right things instead of the wrong things. And we're not going to be able to do that until we get our democracy back. And in order to do that, we need campaign finance reform. We need to make corruption illegal. So on that note, in my opinion, one of the best organizations that's kind of really taking this and running with it and having a lot of success on the state level is Represent Us. You can just go to represent.us, and that's like the best thing you could do for this country's future, in my opinion.
So with the election coming up next year and dance music being so big, do you see maybe a future crossover between, people, especially DJs, raising awareness to get out there and vote, kind of like the Rock the Vote campaign way back when?
I love, I remember I went to a Bass Center concert and registered for voting the last election, and registered to vote at a booth that was at his concert. And that's just kind of a perfect example of the things that we can do as, musicians and artists and entertainers that have a lot of influence. Spreading awareness, getting people to vote, getting people to be aware of the issues that concern them and affect them, and making a stand. That's aside from campaign finance reform, that's the second most important thing that we can do is vote.
You sure you didn't want to go to school and be president? Because it seems like you pretty much got your finger to the pulse of what's going on around here.
Yeah, I would love to be a politician, or sorry, I shouldn't say that. I would hate being a politician. I'm driven and inspired to because of how angry and the corruption in this country makes me, and how much I care for the people around me. But I just don't have it in me to be a politician, because in order to be a politician, you have to, sell yourself, day in and day out.
You'd probably have to cut your dreads, which I'm sure you'd never, ever want to do.
Never, wouldn't happen.
You could be the first, DJing president. That could be pretty amazing if you thought about it.
Nah.
You're young. You'll be 23 tomorrow, and you never know. You still have 50 years to figure it out.
Maybe I'll maybe run for governor or something. See where it goes.
Yeah, I think we'd all love to see one of us in office helping change.
It would really help. There are a lot of great people in the office right now that I look up to, that I've been kind of reaching out to. I try to spend some time calling, local representatives and stuff like that on the issues that are important to me. And yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I got a lot of music to make.
Yeah. What can we kind of expect from you in the next couple of months? I mean, besides you being really involved in politics.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just like a hobby for me on the side.
That's a hobby? Good God.
Yeah, I have a lot of those, actually. But I've got an album coming out. I mean, it's crazy. I just got 30 minutes before you called, I got a link in my email to the album Master. So Monster Cat hasn't heard this yet. No one's heard this yet. I've been working on this album forever. It's been crazy. It's such a huge relief to finally kind of be nearing the end of the project. But yeah, Monster Cat hasn't heard it, so I'm going to take it and send them the whole package. Hopefully they'll run with it, and we'll get a release date and stuff like that. Worst case scenario, they're like, this sucks, you're not good anymore. I'm like, fine, I'll release it for free. So regardless of what happens, there's going to be an album coming out. It's over 40 minutes of new music. I'm actually been working on a bunch of EPs for after that. I already have a bunch of tracks done for after the album, and a bunch of collabs with Austin, collabs with a bunch of other awesome artists, remixes. I mean, I'm just going to be making it rain, because I'm finally done touring. I've been touring for 3 years with Enrique. I told him, dude, I need some time off, and I need to kind of focus on Fractal. And so I'm in the studio. I'm full-time Fractal now, and I may or may not rekindle things with him at some point. But yeah, I'm back. Because when I first came out on Monster Cat, I hadn't released one track. I'd been writing music for 7 years, and I hadn't released anything, so I was waiting to get on a good label. Finally, Monster Cat picked me up, and I was like, hey, I have 100 unreleased tracks if you want them. And they're like, yeah. So I just was putting out tons of music, all, when I first got signed to Monster Cat, and people got really used to, having a new Fractal song every month or every 2 weeks, or whatever. And but then when this touring picked up and this album kind of project hit me at once, my release, my numbers have been dropping a lot as far as how much music I've been putting out. But that's literally going to be reversed and like doubled from what people are used to. I got tons of stuff, and I'm really excited for people to hear it.
I think we're really excited to hear it too. So it's great that, it's coming from both sides, not just you that's excited.
Yeah,
so,
right on.
So we have time for a question from our fans. And if you guys want to join the conversation, you can use the hashtag ATI Live. We'll be checking our Twitter accounts. This first question is, what collabs have you most enjoyed?
Oh, man. Austin is one of my favorite people to work with, for sure. He's one of my best friends. I love him. Sometimes we get into arguments and stuff because how much we love each other. But
I love you, man. I love you so much. It's making me angry.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a blast to work with, and we're an amazing team. It's really streamlined, and we work so fast together and just have so much fun. I'm working with this guy, Render, who hit me up on like Facebook or something, and he's from Canada, and he was like, "I love your music. I want to learn from you. Like, here's my stuff." And I was just like, "You're a genius. I love this music." So like, we're collabing right now, and I'm so excited about that music. Like, I'm so excited for everyone to hear it. I've got like some insane like next level super trappy neuro future based like hybrid stuff. I'm really stoked about. I love working with BT because going to BT's house, like, especially when he invites like Savant over and we're all collaborating, or he invites like Seamless over or whatever, like we'll stay up all night, like no sleep, just like going crazy and working on music all night. His studio was like this like mystical, magical, like you're walking down into the woods and there's like these wood stones and then lights are turning on like on the trees as you're walking down, and it's like a little path, and there's like a nice, like there's like a pond with some fish and like a waterfall thing and like a hammock, and then there's like in the middle of the woods, and then there's like a studio. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm sorry, BT. I don't know if this is TMI, but
I was expecting you to say like a unicorn pops out and like like that just sounded like it wasn't real life just now. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love going over there and working on music with him and with whoever else happens to be there.
I feel like I would just want to live there regardless. Like, you don't have to make music. I just want to sit in the woods in this beautiful.
That's gonna happen. He's remodeling it right now, but when he's done, we're gonna live there for sure for at least a few months.
That's awesome.
He's like, I was like, you're putting a bed in for us in the studio, right? He's like, dude, actually, one step ahead of you.
I built a kitchen too. Like, there's bunk beds for both of us. It'll be awesome. Yeah. So a follow-up question to that: would you like to who would you like to collab with? It could either be someone that you already worked with or someone new.
I'm about to work on a collab with Silent that nobody knows about, which is super exciting to me because he was one of my favorite musicians ever. He was one of my biggest influences for a while. And then one day I like found out that he had been following me for years and listening to my music too, and so we hit it off, and I met him when he came on here on tour and became friends, and he's been to my house since then actually, which is pretty cool. But anyways, that's something I'm super excited about. Who else would I want to collab with? I love to collab with Cone Sound specifically because they've been raping it right now. It's just like in love with their new stuff. I love collaborating with anybody who inspires me, I
like that. Another question: what's it like being a part of the Monster Cat family? What's your favorite release of yours on their label?
That's hard. Monster Cat's just awesome in every way. Everyone there is super nice. They're super friendly. They're super cool. They're super powerful. Like, they get stuff done. It's just a lovely community full of so many talented people that I feel incredibly blessed to be a part of. I think about it a lot. And the sense of community, the sense of just like being a part of something as huge as this movement is very special to me. It means a lot to me because, I've been working really hard for a long time on music, but not a lot of people didn't get to hear it. Monster Cat changed that, and I'm really grateful for that. I don't know if I have a favorite release that I've released on. Is the question favorite song that I've released on Monster Cat? Or?
Yeah, it's your favorite song of yours that you've released on the label.
I don't know. I'm like my biggest critic. Like, I can't stand my music when I'm done with it, and usually what happens, John Prismatic or Austin, he'll like I'll finish a song, I'll be like, this song's like, I'm done with it, and I'll put it away, and then then John or Austin will be like, hey, whatever happened to that song? And I'll be like, oh, this one, and play it, and they'll be like, yeah, you have to release that. I'm like, no. They're like, shut up, release it. And I'm like, the next day I put it out and it's like a hit, and that literally happens like almost every time. It's pretty funny, but I don't know. I like Advara a lot. That one was special to me because of how unique it was.
It works for me. So, have you ever met your fans while you were touring with Enrique Iglesias?
Oh my God, yeah, all the time.
Really?
Almost
Did it like
every.
freak you out a little bit, or you're like, "Holy crap, what are you doing?"
I'd be like, you know, in front of 10,000 people at some crazy, you know, country and setting up my gear, and I just hear Fractal, like, you know, in the crowd. I'm just like, I didn't expect that at first, but no, I mean, what's cool is when I tour with Enrique is that whenever I get to a country, a lot of times I'll make a post and say, hey, I'm in this country. Any fans want to meet up? And then I'll get, you know, I'll take the first couple responses and message those people and delete the thread or whatever, and then and just set up a meeting with these people. And it's great because I've got to meet so many awesome people from around the world that are just, you know, eager to hang out, and they show me around, and the city or the country or whatever, and they play me their music, and we get to talk, you know, maybe do a lesson, or we just get to talk inspirational stuff. And it's awesome because the people that I've found that I attract and that I get to, like my fans that I've actually got to meet from around the world, from Asia to South America to Europe to everywhere. They're some of the most like the coolest, most fun, smart. A lot of them are students. Just like, it's just been a blast. I love meeting fans, and I look forward to, you know, to meeting new fans all the time. That's why I try to do stuff like offer lessons when I have time to anyone who wants to kind of, you know, kick it and learn some stuff. And especially at shows too. Like I like if you ever come to my show, you'll probably notice that like I spend a lot of time in the crowd. Like I'll go out and rage out in the crowd to the person before me, and then I'll play, and then I'll come party afterwards. You know, just because it's, you know, I love that stuff.
It's awesome, man. It's really great that you're one of those people that's for the fans. Like, a lot of people really do appreciate artists like yourself that really take the time to reach out to the people who support them. So thanks a lot for that. From me to you, from every fan ever.
Totally. My pleasure.
Awesome. And final question, how long did it take you to grow your hair?
Oh man.
I know we've been through this, but
yeah, I don't remember. I have one clue. I wonder if my passport's around here. It would be really fun
your
to show.
passport, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but my only clue is that on my passport I have an afro that's so big that it goes outside of the borders of the picture frame on the passport, like it's printed, and it's from 2008. So 2008 I had an afro. Probably 2009 I started, or late 2008 I started. I don't know.
It's pretty dope though. I mean, you've got some serious dreads.
Yeah, they're fun.
Awesome.
Like a lot of time, like when I'm writing music, I can't really sit still for long, so I'll like just dance around and just like start going crazy to my own music while I'm producing it, and like, you know, it just makes it a lot more fun.
If you can't enjoy your music, then who will?
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with Your DM this week. We really appreciate it. I know the fans have had an amazing time listening to you as someone who inspires them. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And for all you other guys listening for ATI Live, my name is Crystal, and we'll be back on May 27th with Blaster Jacks. You guys have a great night. Good night.
Peace.